Good morning. Today, with the ringing of our Peace Bowl, we affirm our collective hope for peace. Peace in our lives, peace in our homes, peace in our community, peace in our nation, peace in our world. We also acknowledge that these lands that we love and live in are the ancestral and current homes of the Yavapai people. So again, good morning and welcome to Granite Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Prescott, Arizona. I am Jack Wood. I was just telling Reverend Michelle, I'm a semi-lapsed worship associate, I'm afraid, because she was filling me in on all the things I've missed out on over the past few weeks. We extend a warm welcome to all. We're glad that you're able to join us and hope that you are all in good health. If you're not, where's that mask? Oh, I see two masks. All right. And for those watching on Zoom, we wish you good health as well. If you're joining us for the first time, please check out our website at prescottuu.org. There's a lot of things going on here, and there's a lot of information on the website. If you're here in person, there'll be time to introduce yourself later today. And we invite you to stay and join with us after the service in the Davis Hall for a coffee hour and refreshments. And you'll have the opportunity to chant with a member or two, or maybe even more. We thank our pianist, Lena Eubin, for her services today. We also thank Martin Bramble, who's on the media board, Brian Willison, who's the Sunday Management Coordinator, and all of our Sunday morning volunteers. In addition to the announcements that we're showing on the screen before the service, you can read about other things happening at Granite Peak in the View and the weekly Peak newsletter. We also have some printed copies of the announcements at the welcome table. Sandra Palacios, our Faith Development Coordinator, is working with younger children, age 5 and above, in the Faith Development Building across the street. And now the important part, please make sure that your phones and other electronic devices are silenced. I have a cardiac pacemaker, but I'm not going to silence that, so. Actually, I'm going to silence my phone because that might be what's going to beep. Okay.
Good morning. I am the Reverend Michelle LaGrave, she, her, and I am proud to be the minister here at Granite Peak. I am a queer, white, disabled woman, and these are some of the perspectives from which I speak. Today I am wearing a dark blue shirt and blue stole with symbols of world religions on them. If you are visiting with us for the first time today or are still kind of newish, I'd like to extend to you a very special and warm welcome. Do we have any new folks here? Would you like to wave your hands around or stand up? I see one. Hi. Welcome. We are so glad that you are here. Whoever you are. Oh, another one? Oh, cool. We've got 2 new people here today. Welcome to both of you. Let's all say a great big welcome. Welcome. Yay. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you find yourself on your life's journey, whether you've walked in or rolled in or zoomed in, whichever your pronouns, whomever you love, you are welcome here, you belong here.
We come to the part of the service where we will light our chalice. I've asked Russ Erickson to be the chalice lighter today. And I found some words for the chalice lighting from our gray hymnal that were written by Albert Schweitzer. Albert Schweitzer was born in 1875 and died in 1965. So he had a 90-year lifespan, and he was a very accomplished person. He was a physician, apparently a musicologist. He was a philanthropist and a philosopher and a missionary, and also a controversial theologian. So quite a lifespan, quite a life of accomplishments. And he wrote, "At times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us." And we begin our service in the Unitarian Universalist tradition of lighting the chalice. Today we light the chalice with these words as well. We light this chalice, a symbol of our heritage, in gratitude for this beloved community.
We gather together. We arrive as individuals, as couples, as families, as neighbors, as friends. We got here by walking, by biking, by riding, by driving, by connecting. We bring with us our joys and sorrows, our laughter and our tears, our worries and our fears, our questions and our beliefs, our ethics and our values. Some of us arrived early this morning, or joined us 10 minutes ago, or encountered obstacles on our way, or will arrive just in time for the sermon. or will sign online later this week or even next month. We are sitting in chairs, leaning on walkers or canes, stretching in the aisles, settling in wheelchairs, and relaxing in recliners at home. We, members and friends and visitors alike, come from many paths and join together as one congregation to lift up our highest values. We have gathered. Now, let us worship. And we will begin our worship by rising either in body or spirit and join in singing number 360, Here We Have Gathered. Now, who here is tired this morning? It's because of the party last night, isn't it? Now, I know I'm a little tired, but I have an excuse because I just moved this week. But I don't know about all of you. So, stretch your arms out, wiggle them, wiggle your legs. We're going to wake up a little bit. For our visitors, we had a congregational dinner last night, and I think it wore everybody out. So, let us say together the words of our covenant, which are going to appear on the screen shortly. Here we go. Love is the doctrine of this congregation, the quest for truth its sacrament, and service its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, thus do we covenant together.
We come to the offertory part of the service, and I have a poem that I'd like to share before we actually begin the offertory. It's called The Gift of Giving. It's by Frank Sonnenberg, and I have his express permission to share it with you folks this morning. And he also said I could copy some of the poems, and I have them on the table outside in the lobby if anybody's interested. The Gift of Giving. Give out of love, not obligation. Give when it's least expected. Give without strings attached. Give from your heart. Give of yourself. Give to show that you care. Give help without causing helplessness. Give something that takes personal sacrifice. Give to make a difference. Give without keeping score. Give for no reason at all. Give a little if you can't give a lot. Give without attracting attention to yourself. Give without being asked. Give of your experience. Give to those who need it most. These words are really fitting, I think, for today's offertory, for the annual campaign that Michelle will be talking about, and then for each of us in all the days of our life. So, as we now prepare to take the offering, let us embrace the feeling of connection and community that we have when we gather together here each week. Let us remember that this congregation and its programs are supported by your generosity. We also give back to the greater community through our Seeds of Support program. This month's recipient is Meals on Wheels. I'm sure that you're all familiar with that wonderful program. Thank you.
Please find a comfortable place in your seats. Connect to the floor in some way that might be comfortable to you, so you might feel more connected, more grounded, more nourished by the earth, which supports us all. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Take a deep breath in. I invite you into a time of meditation and prayer, or perhaps a brief nap. For those of you who are familiar with Granite Peak, I invite you to consider this community. For those of you who are new or are visiting, I invite you to visit the community of your imagination, of your dreams. What is it about this community that you love? What is it about this community that you receive? What is it about this community that you give? What is it about this community for which you are grateful? Let us sit in silence together for a few moments, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, focusing on all that is our lives, our communal lives, for which we are grateful. Amen, and blessed be.
Beloved community is at the heart of Granite Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. As we experience this time of meditation and music, we take a few moments to silently acknowledge the joys and concerns in our hearts and in our minds. If there is an event that moves you to joy or concern, hope or gratitude, grief or remembrance, you are invited to come forward and drop a pebble from these dishes into our communal water as an affirmation of our connection to one another.
I would like to invite the stewards to come up here on the chancel with me. And the Mary Anns. Yeah, come on up, everybody, so we can see you. And we have a covenant between the stewards and the congregation, which will, the slides will flow through. Mary Ann, would you like to lead the stewards with the microphone?
Perfect. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. We stand before you, committed to doing our best to make our congregation's dreams come true by asking each of you to connect with us to generously support our mission and our vision. Understanding that stewardship is a spiritual practice, we commit ourselves with open hearts and helping hands to make personal connections and build community with you. We commit ourselves to listen respectfully to your dreams and concerns. We promise to keep private what should be kept private and pass along only that information that you have asked us to share. And together, we commit ourselves to enjoy each other's company, to respect each other's ideas, perceptions, and beliefs, and to have a good time while raising funds to ensure the future health of our congregation. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our stewards. For those who are just joining us today for the first time, if you haven't gathered already, this is the beginning of our annual stewardship campaign. We gather together to do this once a year because this congregation is supported primarily through its own members contributing funds to make the congregation run. All right. I love being here at Granite Peak. I love living in this area. I love being the minister of this congregation. And I feel blessed in so many, many ways to be here. I'm at that point in my ministerial career where I have a lot of choices, especially after having served larger churches in recent years and having done interim ministry for the past 15. This is my 16th year in ministry. So in recently talking with a board member about why I chose to come to Granite Peak, even though it involved a truly significant reduction in salary, I talked about some of my reasons, but then I shrugged my shoulders and said, because it's Granite Peak. That's why I did it. And I have been so delighted to find out that this UU congregation here in Prescott, Arizona is even better than I imagined or thought it would be before I came. It is feeling like a wonderful decision to be here. And I know that we are still building our relationships together and still doing contract ministry and all those things, but I am enjoying it so much, and I want to say thank you to all of you for that. This place, this congregation, is full of people who are amazing. Amazing Energizer bunnies is what I told you last night. It's a special place, not just here in Prescott, Arizona, which it truly is, but also in our entire constellation of UU congregations all across the country. One of the lessons that Jesus shares in the Sermon on the Mount is about shining our own lights, and that we don't put our lamps, our lights underneath a bushel basket. Why would we? Why light a lamp and then hide it? Instead, we let them shine, and that is what Granite Peak does. You live your values out loud. You let your values shine. You let your lights shine. Maria Harris, who is a Catholic philosopher, theologian of religious education, and is still being read, I am told, by Lisa in seminary today, has put forth a theory about the curriculum that congregations have, that there are three different types: the explicit, the implicit, and the null. The explicit curriculum is really about everything we say out loud in a very direct and explicit way. It's about what we say from the pulpit on Sunday morning. It is about what we teach in our adult faith formation classes. It is about what our women's and men's groups talk about in their small group ministries. It is about what is taught with the children and youth in their faith development classes. It's what we say when we gather for congregational dinners and talk about what we want to do in the future. The explicit is the pretty obvious stuff. The implicit curriculum are the things, the values that we can read into what we are doing, but aren't explicitly stated out loud apart from the activity. The null curriculum is the part of what we are not doing at all and not talking about at all. So a great example from high school history might be not talking about Indigenous history. That we just talk about the white settler, colonial, westward expansion aspects of history, but not really talk about Indigenous history. So that would be a null curricula. So here at Granite Peak, for the Sermon on the Mount, I'm going to talk about the budget for a moment. This is a place where implicit values really show up in congregations, so they can, I know you all talked about how they can be sort of like a drudge to read last night, especially when they're many pages long and it's a lot of numbers and all of that. But they can also be really fascinating to read because when you look at a budget, it tells you what a congregation cares about. Where they put the money is what they truly care about, whether it is consciously or subconsciously in an implicit sort of way. That is a primary curriculum of the congregation. So what do we find out from looking at Granite Peak's budget? We find out that this congregation cares about fair compensation to its staff people. There was one, in reviewing all the numbers in preparation for the budget this year, it came to light that there was one part-time staff position that was a little farther below where we thought it should be. And so while everyone else in the staff is getting a 3% increase to kind of keep up with inflation, one person is getting 5% to make it fair because their position was a little behind the averages when we looked at all the different guidelines that you can look at. It's a lot of work, but it's also really, I really enjoyed being with the personnel committee while they were working on this year, because they really looked at what is fair, what is right, what is just. And so that is showing up in the budget. And now that staff position will be come into alignment with the rest of the staff positions. Another aspect we can see is that you provide health insurance through the Unitarian Universalist Association, which is an independently funded health insurance. And so that means all the contributions that the congregations and the people pay in go into like one big lump sum, and then the claims get paid out of that. And it provides lots of great things like health care coverage for transgender people, reproductive care that is not covered in a lot of different insurance plans. And it also includes a special board of appeals that is made up of only Unitarian Universalists. So if you're getting frustrated with your health insurance and getting things covered, you can file an appeal to other UUs who hold similar values to us to help make the final decision and potentially get an unpaid claim paid. Pretty cool, huh? And it's also expensive. More expensive than some other health insurances might be, and there was a really large increase in it this year. And that remains in the budget, as well as all of the other recommended fair compensation benefits. You can also see by looking at this budget that you are what was called a fair share congregation and has now been uplifted to an honor congregation because you pay into the UUA's resources a lump sum of money that is how the UUA has calculated would be fair if each congregation gave, and then we would be able to support what the General Assembly says it wants to do through the Unitarian Universalist Association every year. So that, for those of you who aren't super familiar with our polity, the congregations the independent congregations are really the ones who are on the top of the hierarchy. They send delegates down to the General Assembly, and they pass various resolutions and things. And then in between annual General Assemblies, there's a Board of Trustees that carries out what the delegates want to have happen throughout the year. And that includes overseeing training of ministers, overseeing training of religious educators, writing curriculum, providing insurance benefits, all these things that no one congregation could really do on its own. It would be really hard for, say, Granite Peak to oversee the training of the ministers that might want to apply and make sure that they met all of the various requirements and things that we have to do. So, what I'm trying to say is the UUA is not what's in charge. The congregations are in charge, even though that gets confused sometimes. By reading the budget, another thing that you also see is that it is a realistic budget. There is nothing extraneous or superfluous or just really extra fancy schmancy, whatever. It is a realistic budget of what it takes to have this congregation run in a good way throughout the year. It's not the super bare bones, we have to start cutting staff people budget. It's the realistic budget of if we want to keep going the way we're going right now, and you're growing, and not just in numbers, that's not the most important part, but really in spirit and in the things that you're doing out in the world, then this is the budget that it will take to do that. It also says a lot, that combined with the personnel policies, another potentially boring read, right? I think turns out to be pretty fascinating because you learn a lot about what the congregation values there too. And one of the things is a work-life balance for the people who work here. So I don't think she's here today. Elaine was sick this week. But Elaine sits on the personnel committee, and I think she was kind of shaking her head, pulling her hair out at me and Kelly a couple of months ago because we showed up to work on Veterans Day and worked the entire day, and then somebody said something, and so I went and looked at the personnel policy, and it turned out that we weren't supposed to have come to work that day. But there are so many places that don't really honor a holiday like Veterans Day, but you do here. And that's just amazing. And now Elaine, every time a holiday comes up, she sends us an email the week before reminding us to not come to work. I love that she does that. It's so sweet. So when we're looking at values that are infused in the budget and in the congregational life and in the personnel policies and all those different things, there's one value that I think really rises up to the top above all else, and that is the value of community. The very nature of Granite Peak is really all about community, at least the way I see it and experience it. And it's not just about taking care of your own. It's not an insider congregation where we just sort of keep going and take care of each other and sort of insulate ourselves from outside or shelter from the outside. You do a wonderful job of taking care of each other when you're sick or injured or different things are going on. But you don't just stay inside. You also go out there, outside these walls, and you take care of the larger local community in so many of your social justice programs and in the ways that all of your different events and programming are open to everyone. I have had so many visitors come up to me and say, I have never gone anywhere where I have felt such a warm welcome. That's you. That's what you do. That's what you embody all the time. And what you offer, what you value, what you offer is needed so critically right now with where we are in our nation. We need liberal, progressive congregations that are willing to shine their lights, shine their values out into the wider world. There are people out there who need us and haven't found us yet. There are LGBTQ people, especially trans people. There are people who have come from different lands and countries at other points in their lives, and they need us. There are There are so many ways in which Granite Peak is desperately needed. I was raised in New England, so when I'm thinking about these sort of things, a lot of ocean metaphors come to mind, which don't really work in the desert. So I'm going to need your help coming up with some new ones. But what I really think about is Granite Peak's kind of like this lighthouse, and it flashes these lights saying that it's safe harbor here. You can come here and you can feel welcome, and you can come as your true self, who you really are. Just show up and you will be embraced warmly in this community, and you can join us. So whatever the desert equivalent of that is, we'll have to figure it out. But Oasis. Yes, thank you. This is an oasis, a spiritual oasis, a place where we still care about the importance of democracy and due process, among many other things. So, I am no Jesus. I want to be very clear about that. I am no Jesus. But having arrived in Granite Peak this past August, and having been given 12, count them, 12 worship associates, and then being told I'd be doing a Sermon on the Mount in March, I did start to wonder if y'all were trying to develop some kind of Messiah complex in me. So I am no Jesus, but here is my take on the Granite Peak Beatitudes. Are you ready? Blessed are those who would welcome in the stranger, for you shall belong. Blessed are those who gather together to listen closely to one another, for you shall be heard. Blessed are those who feed their neighbors, for you shall be fed. Blessed are those who make bowls and fill them full of soup, for you shall be nourished. Blessed are those who clothe their retired warriors in new undergarments, for you shall be protected. Blessed are those who provide spiritual care for children in detention, for you shall be fulfilled. Blessed are those who care for the sick, lonely, isolated, and injured among you, for you shall be cared for. Blessed are those who teach their neighbors English, for you shall be understood. Blessed are those who demand justice, rise in protest, and protect the refugee, for you shall find new sanctuary. Blessed are those who reuse and recycle, for you shall be reincarnated. Blessed are those who provide for one another's needs, for you shall have all you need. Blessed are those who learn and grow and stretch their whole lives through, for you shall be transformed. Blessed are those who sing and laugh and play and dance together, for you shall be joyful. Blessed are those who shine their lights and live their values, for you shall be seen. Blessed are those who form beloved community in the face of oppression. Rejoice and be glad, for great shall be your reward here on earth. I have so much gratitude and admiration and respect for who you are as Granite Peak and the values you hold and the values you live out in the world, the way you let your lights and your love shine. Thank you. Thank you to every single one of us, because it does take every single one of us. We are all in this together, now more than ever. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen, and blessed be. Now, let us rise and sing "This Little Light of Mine," shining from the oasis in the desert.
Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world,
We're gonna let
it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Russ. Okay. As a member of the Finance Committee, I feel that I can honestly attest that after all the hours and blood, sweat, and tears that the Finance Committee has gone through over the past few months trying to help develop this budget, that the Finance Committee really endorses it. So. And now we come to extinguishing the chalice, and Russ is going to help with that. And we can read along with the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And I would like to just reiterate one of the sentences from Albert Schweitzer. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. And I might add that perhaps it's time for us to help to light the flame within others.
Our closing words come from the Reverend Theodore Parker. He is one of the big deal forefathers of American Unitarianism. He was a minister in the 19th century, and for those of you who aren't overly familiar with him, he served in Massachusetts pre-Civil War and was a ardent abolitionist. We UUs are not perfect. Not everybody was, but he was an amazing abolitionist who after the Fugitive Slave Act was enacted, started keeping a gun in his desk in order to defend the members of his congregation, some of whom were fugitive slaves, people who had been enslaved, and he was willing to defend them. He was also a member of the Silent Six who helped fund the rebellion at Harper's Ferry, and did not live to see abolition happen. These are his words. Be ours a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere. Its temple, all space. Its shrine, the good heart. Its creed, all truth. Its ritual, works of love. Its profession of faith, divine living. Go forth, blessing all others as you yourselves are now blessed. Amen, and blessed be.